Hello, people. How's it going? Welcome to stream. Welcome. Arsenal have beaten Everton 2-0. 2-0, but it wasn't easy. Let's be real. It wasn't easy. It was a nervy game, but we're going to react to it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss it. Gyökeres scores. Dowman scores. There were some open moments where Arsenal could have gone 1-2, nothing down. There were some moments that Arsenal could have gone up. But overall, this was fantastic to watch to a degree because it was something typical what Arsenal does. At the same time, it also started to look that we're not going to score. But in the end, we did. And that feeling is just phenomenal to a degree because we have extended the gap to 10 points right now, just before the City play right now against, obviously, West Ham United. And I think that is gonna be very interesting to see how everything is gonna be impacted. Yes, maybe against City, with City, it might not have as much impact as maybe with other teams. But at the same time, the fact that we won, given that last year we draw at home, it's definitely going to help Arsenal in this title race, without shadow of a doubt. We are 10 points clear at the moment. Well, 9, because it's a draw at the moment, 0-0, right? We'll see how this is going to go. We'll see where this is going to land. But we are doing good. We're doing good, and many people I have seen on social media, and not Arsenal fans specifically. I'm not talking about Arsenal fans. I'm talking about quite a few other fans. They are saying that we can pop the champagne already, because we beat Everton. Obviously, we are 10 points clear and everything looks rosy. But again, I'm not getting carried away. Is this win fantastic? Yes, it is. Is the 10 points clear fantastic? Yes, it is. Dowman scores, Gyökeres scores. It's all rainbows, unicorns, and all this stuff. Confetti, bang, and all, right? But at the same time, it's one game at a time settings because everything before our eyes can disappear like that. So, gonna stay calm. Gonna still go, and I'm gonna get excited when it's mathematically impossible for Man City to get us. Let's be real. And also, I'm gonna be excited. I'm gonna get excited if we win the Carabao Cup, and we're gonna basically bounce on from there. Time only will tell, of course. But overall, yeah, we're gonna talk about the game. We're gonna talk about your thoughts because let me know them in the chat. Like the stream, subscribe if you're new. Let me know what you think. But yeah, it was fantastic to a degree. Big up, Jackie. Big up my heart. My heart as well. It was rough, but at the same time, it was fantastic in the end. Sometimes, sometimes you have to go through hell to basically feel the fruits and reap the fruits and everything. And at the end of the day, we did it. So there were some very nervy moments. Roy made some very crucial saves. We went forward. It looked somewhat threatening. Timber got injured, which is a very big worry for me long term. That Timber injury, definitely, it's not going to be as rosy as people think, I think. I kind of get a feeling. Timber coming off on with an injury forcefully, 38 minutes in, that definitely is one of those that cannot help but wonder that another one bites the dust and it could impact our season. I think this injury could definitely be the one. Even in the first 2 minutes, Declan Rice was holding his ankle or knee, and it also didn't look great, but luckily enough, he could carry on. He could play through the pain and everything. We'll see how that's going to go. But at the moment, yeah, it is definitely looking great. At the same time, there are some drawbacks at the end of the day, and to a degree, it's like Arsenal. You cannot have everything fine. You need to go something wrong. And this Timber injury definitely is one of those type of situations. And I just hope Timber's injury is nothing serious. I'm genuinely hoping because Ben White, I don't know. Mosquera at right back, long term, throughout the whole rest of the season, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be rough. Yes, Timber hasn't had the best of last 2 months or so. At the same time, he's been the best, one of the most consistent performers for Arsenal since he has joined us. So it is a bit of a rough one. Big up, Ange. Big up. Congratulations. I hope I popped the champagne is on. I hope the champagne is on ice. Don't ball the league now. As much as I don't like Arsenal, credit is due. Big up to you. Big up to you for admitting it as a Spurs fan as well, by the way. Big up to you for admitting it and saying it as it is. Let's be real, but there is no champagne as of yet for me. Nothing is on ice. My emotions are on ice. I'm not going to lie. My emotions and my hype of the fact that we can win the league and everything is still on ice. The ice is melting. I'm not get me wrong. The ice is melting quite heavily. Let's just put it that way. But at the same time, I'm not gonna get carried away. Not gonna get carried away. It's one game at a time. Nothing has been decided yet. Nothing. Because there is still loads of games to play and anything can happen. And that is the biggest thing about this. At the moment, Arsenal, if City win today at the moment against West Ham, let's be real, it is 7 points. If they win the game they have in hand, it's 4 points. And 4 points is a 2-game swing. And that is literally, let's be real, absolutely nothing, especially since we have to go Etihad. Yes, today's win feels fantastic, especially what the emotional roller coaster we went throughout the whole game. With the chances we missed, the chances they missed, the chances Raya saved, some missed opportunities and everything. Timber's injury, Rice's scare of an injury and everything. It definitely was a roller coaster ride. But at the end of the day, it feels good at the moment. It feels good. It feels very nice. It feels fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. The bounce back after the, let's just say, the mess we saw against Bayer Leverkusen definitely made up for it today. Hopefully, this gives the team some sort of encouragement and it spurs us forward. It lifts the team's spirits and it lifts everything because, let's be real, we need wins at the end of the day. We are in this position at the moment where every game is a must-win. I know it sounds like a cliche, but for Arsenal, every game is a must-win because we cannot afford to drop points in the league. And in cup competitions, well, you have to win. There's no other ways to go through. So it's a must-win. It is a must-win every single game. We are taking it slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And we are taking this one game at a time. Big up Animal Shorts. Big up. Before the sun, I was right about the Stinky Joe. I think we might win the league and seen one since 2003. Exactly. I was 9 and barely remember anything. Yeah, it's rough. It's been over 2 decades, so it definitely is rough. Let's be real. It definitely is rough. 23 years right now in the making. Hopefully we can do it. The stars are pointing in the right direction and everything. And hopefully it also happens to us. Max Dowman scores a goal. He was fantastic for the time he was on the pitch. Let's be real. It didn't feel like a lot because we don't see Max Dowman too often. At the same time, saying that, he played for about 21 minutes if you include the extra time. Not 21. 20 something minutes if you include the extra time and everything. So didn't feel like enough, but you definitely could see the quality, see the direction he's going, how he wants to play, and I hope he gets some more game time because he definitely showed that he is more impactful at this stage at the current season than Saka and Madueke. Madueke even played and everything, and it's very interesting, very, very interesting. Big up AJ. Thank you, Max Dowman, scoring that second goal, like putting Dewsbury Hall on his ass and everything, and then just emptying that goal. That was like what Martinelli did against Aston Villa. Just remember the days and everything. Like, fantastic. Yeah, people, like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new around here as well, people. And don't forget to let me know your thoughts in the live chat about this game, about the performance, what you like, what you didn't like, and how you feel after all of this. Honestly, if we win the League Cup, I honestly believe it's done. Yeah, I also think so too. If we win the League Cup, I strongly believe we're going to win the league. That I'm going to say right now. It's not an over-exaggeration, and that definitely could be a thing, and that hopefully that also happens. Because for me, I've been saying this for quite a while since we found out we're going to play Man City in the cup, and we're going to play and Man City obviously is chasing us. I said this, and I'm going to keep saying this. The team that wins the Carabao Cup most likely is going to win the league, and I think Arsenal have a very strong shot at doing it. I'm very, very cautious about this City game because Arsenal against City definitely is one of those games where Arsenal have a very big mental block, which is not a great thing, especially when we play not at home. Obviously, at Wembley, that's our place. We tend to do very good there. And the league is going to be the more of a telling at the same time. If you look from the other perspective, that we are the most consistent team throughout the season in the league. We don't drop points too much, and when we do, unfortunately, it has come at the most disadvantageous times for Arsenal, no matter how you look at it, and it has caused a panic in the fan base. It has caused massive disarray in the fan base, including myself. I'm part of that because football obviously is an emotional sport. We as fans are very emotional, and I said this before, and I'm going to say this again, that I react to a game, and I react for the impact to the future. I cannot just say, I cannot sit and look at the past and say, well, we had credit in the bank. Oh, we did this, we did that, so everything's good to be fine in the future. Because the signs are there as well, not the good ones. There are some very good signs, let's be real, but there are also not some good signs. And those signs have been dragging through Arsenal for pretty much last few years, and that is the obviously biggest drawback as an Arsenal fan what you can have, and that is what I have, the PTSD, the cautiousness and everything. Hopefully we can avoid all that this season, and so far it looks that we actually could, genuinely could. It looks like the team is in a different place right now, 100%. Big up Roy, wow, just wow. 8 minutes played at West Ham, 92% possession for Man City. I expect City a win. I expect City a win without saying it. Let's be real. It's West Ham. Yes, they're fighting to stay up. They're battling Spurs, and Nottingham Forest for staying up. But if Man City want to prove that they are one of them, they have to win. Let's be real. They have to win. And I think Man City is going to be one of those teams that are going to go for it. And more or less, they're going to do it, I think. I think West Ham are going to put a very big resistance. But at the end of the day, I think Man City are going to get the job done. Now I can concentrate on being a Liverpool supporter tomorrow and just relax. Big up Sean. We have to win against Leverkusen in the final now. At the very least, leave Etihad with a point. Every game is a cup final. Yeah, every single game. Well, more or less every single game since January is a cup final for Arsenal. Every single game we cannot afford to drop points because no matter what Man City team is right now, you cannot write them off. Every single game, drop points is like a loss in my eyes. Every draw, even though we gain a point at the same time, winning is better than drawing. Let's be real. But at the end of the day, every single game since January has been a cup final. Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Premier League, Champions League. There is no room for error. And as long as Arsenal can think about all this, can keep that in mind, and they can actually use that, not as a negative thing where they get caught in between two minds and they basically mind screw themselves, but use that as a fuel, inspiration to basically guide them over the line, to make them actually more alert, but to get them over certain instances. That always is going to be a good thing. Dowman's better than Saka. Technically, yes. But Saka also was not to the same level technically, but overall very, very, very similar to Max Dowman when he just came onto the scene and started playing wing. Not left back, but on the wings. He was very direct. He tried to take on opponents. He was very physical. He was gliding through defenders. And obviously with changing the style, the system, and everything, which has changed pretty much yearly under Mikel Arteta, most of that stuff has disappeared. And since Saka got injured and he has come back from that injury, it's just genuinely very, very, very rough to watch Saka at the moment. Hence why players like Madueke and Dowman look like a breath of fresh air. And you cannot blame them. You cannot blame anything because those players actually try to do things. Saka mostly recycles the ball. Max Dowman and Madueke try to cause chaos. They go on the opponent. They try to take them on. And the nuts part is, more or less almost every single time, those two players get almost the same treatment as Saka, double teams, triple teams, low blocks, and everything. And they prevail. Saka, on the other hand, look like he just disappears. The state of this Premier League football is that it's rough. Definitely, it's rough. We have entered an era where everyone sits back, one team must attack, and to a degree, you get punished when you attack at times. I can't believe I'm saying this, but our build-up is missing Odegaard, as it was anonymous as a 10. And with the double pivot, only when moved Saka to the middle did he actually do something. Yeah, it's very weird. Like, personally for me, Odegaard is not it for us in number 10. At the same time, you can see very evidently that we are missing something. We are heavily missing that 10 spot. Saying that, if you think about this, excluding that 22-23 season more specifically, right? No number 10s have thrived under this manager. And strikers, as a matter of fact. Attackers as well, they have not been too great. Saka has been somewhat consistent. The rest of them have just disappeared. So I think it's not as much as player issues to a degree. It's more as well the manager issue, in my opinion, because you cannot take a 100 goal scoring striker in 2 seasons and make him look like Marwan Shamah. You cannot take Eze, who was absolutely blitzing the league in Crystal Palace under Glesner, and make him look like a Timu version of Andrei Arshavin and everything. Like, it's definitely something is not adding up there in that equation for me personally. If City win their both games in hand, it's 4 exactly. Exactly, and that has been my point throughout the whole time. City win this game. Let's just say today against West Ham, it's 7 points. If City win the game against Palace, it's 4 points. No matter how you look at it, until that game happens, you have to assume the worst case scenario, which is City wins that game, right? It's 4 points. With us still needing to go to the Etihad, I think that could decide everything at the end of the day. That could put us in a position where everything gets decided. Because if Arsenal win, we're gonna win the league, in my opinion. If Arsenal draw or lose, it's gonna be a squeaky bum time, especially if we lose. Because if we lose, it's a 1 point gap, and then it's up for grabs. Basically, who's getting first to serve? The players could be one if Arteta played like the most scenarios. The draw will he play Max is always good. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully Arteta maybe opens up a bit, maybe wises up a bit in terms of playing Max Dowman more often. Because with Max Dowman on the pitch, our attack becomes alive. It feels like we're playing with zombies on the pitch at times when Saka plays, when Odegaard plays, when Eze plays, when Martinelli, Trossard, and everyone of them plays. As soon as Madueke or Dowman come on, it feels like our attack just comes alive. It's different, it's unique, it's something special, it's something unorthodox that other team doesn't expect. Because everyone is expecting Arsenal to recycle the ball, control the game, and try to find some half spaces and open gaps and try to execute that. With Max Dowman and Madueke, they do that to a degree, but most of the time they actually take the job on themselves. They actually do it, they go for it, and they cause chaos. And I've been saying this for the longest time. There is nothing wrong with having chaos in the attack. As long as it's a controlled chaos, which is properly maintained and played to your advantage and strengths, right? It does you more. It helps you more than does harm. And with Madueke and Eze coming on, it definitely feels like that. Big up Hello Banking, big up. Exactly. Let's keep our our feet on the ground, one game at a time. It was rough. It was a roller coaster ride today. Timber got injured, which is not great. We still have to figure out what's going to happen there, how long he could be out for, and what type of injury it was. But we won the game. We got the 3 points on the board, especially before City play West Ham. That's what counts. We move on. Next game, Bayer Leverkusen at home. One game at a time. Every game is a cup final. We cannot get too carried away. We cannot get too excited. Yes, we can celebrate the win, but there is no reason for us to basically jump out of our seats and scream that we're going to win it all. We have to do it step by step. Max is amazing potential, world class. He's very, for a 16, 17-year-old, his footballing IQ, his first touch and everything is years ahead of him for his age. And if he can add a bit more physicality and stay injury-free, we definitely could have diamond in the rough to the maximum degree. 100%. Do you think Arteta will destroy him? Like, nah, I don't think so. I think Arteta will figure this out at some point. Hopefully it's going to be sooner than later. At the same time, saying that, it solely depends for how long Arteta stays at Arsenal. Because it also could come to a point where some other manager takes him over and develops him separately. And that could actually be very indifferent. Random, but would you take left wing from Bodo over Martinelli and Trossard? From Bodo Glimt? I'm not gonna lie, I would say quite a few play. If we're just talking some random parallel universe, right, where Martinelli and Trossard are not at Arsenal, and I can pick and choose some random left winger, right, I would genuinely choose anyone, right? But since it doesn't work like that, we will have to buy someone. With Barcola almost close to signing a new deal at PSG, Yildiz signing a new deal, Leao just signed a new deal and everything, it feels like it could be Gordon. At the same time, I don't think Andrea Berta wants Gordon. I hope at least. Because personally, for me, Gordon is not it. Personally, for me, Gordon is not it for Arsenal's left wing situation. Saying that, Gordon works hard. He runs forward. He runs back. He tracks back like Martinelli. And that just screams Mikel Arteta player, right? So we'll have to wait and see till summer. What day is the League Cup final? It is, if I'm not mistaken, the Cup final is on Sunday. Carabao Cup final is on Sunday next week, 22nd of March, next week, just before the international break. No? Or let me check. Yeah, it's we have Carabao Cup final. Well, we have Leverkusen during the week on Tuesday. On Sunday, we have Carabao Cup final. Then we have international break. And then we have FA Cup quarterfinals. We have the game just before the we have the Carabao Cup game just before the international break. Can we call 29 a false player instead of a false 9? He's a false 9, to be honest. He's something in between false 9 and a 10. I think that role is the most suited for him, like he played at Bayer Leverkusen when he was there. Otherwise, playing him as a striker, out-and-out striker, to rely on him as a finisher or on a wing definitely doesn't cut it. But he has his uses. He's actually very good at certain things. Yeah, it's on Sunday. He's too good to him. He should have played most games. He should have played some games sooner, 100%. Max Dowman should have played certain games sooner. That goes without saying. But obviously, he was injured this season, so he could not play. Arsenal have to deal with what they have. Right now, with Trossard still being doubtful on the last few games, not being sure whether he's going to be ready for the what's its face Bayer Leverkusen game. I definitely would entertain that look at Max Dowman, because even at Leverkusen during the week, that game for me personally screamed Max Dowman. Something direct, something different of what we are seeing on the pitch. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that. Today we did, because as soon as some of these players came on, especially Max Dowman, it changed the game. It changed the dynamic of the game, because everyone's used to how Arsenal play, and having this sort of a ace card up our sleeves, like we play with Madueke sometimes coming off the bench, and how we do with Max Dowman sometimes. Definitely, that would be the case. That definitely helps us. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen against Leverkusen until the end of the season, because I think Max Dowman, when he has played, he has proven that he is good enough and he can carry his own weight in games. Saying that, he obviously is a teenager. He's very young, very inexperienced in this level, which means he's going to have some stinkers. And in that case, like, we have to understand that. He's not going to be very consistent to a degree. But not to utilize him, especially given how he can, and he has changed certain games, what he brings to the pitch, and not using him, that definitely is a travesty and a half in these situations. Because sometimes when I watch Arsenal games, I feel like, what is this attack? What are they doing? It can't get much worse than this. Sub on Max Dowman, maybe he can do something, change the game, do something unique. And Arteta obviously never does. He doesn't change. So that is one of those frustrating bits with Arteta, but hopefully at some point it definitely will change. Let's just put it that way. Let's be brutally honest. It doesn't matter what City does. We must do what we need to do against Leverkusen City in the final and away at Etihad. If we do this, it's ours. Exactly. At the end of the day, it does not matter what Man City does if we do our job. And then that's what it is. if we keep winning, if we keep getting points on the board, if we do our thing, Man City is going to become irrelevant in this equation, right? But the more Arsenal screw things up, something doesn't go our way, we miss chances, we start to drop points, or something goes wrong, we give Man City the window of opportunity to basically put their foot into the door and not allow us to shut them closed. And Man City just needs once to that to happen, and it could be the end of days. So as long as we do our thing and we do our jobs, one game at a time, by the way, not all at once, but one game at a time, we still should be good. But stay grounded, level-headed, and don't get hyped up at the moment. Let's just put it that way. Big up, Marlon. Big up. Big up. I also think we could see Norgard a bit more, give Rice more freedom to roam, and have Eze play off him too. Sometimes the midfield seems so flat. Yeah, definitely. Sometimes when Arsenal play, the midfield feels like Swiss cheese. Like seriously, like Swiss cheese. It definitely feels like that, full of holes. It feels very flat, very drained. And that is because, well, Rice cannot afford sometimes to basically push up ahead because other team is pressing us. They're playing very quick football where, well, let's just put it that way. Declan Rice has to cover Zubimendi. There are those times, there are those games where that has to happen. Zubimendi gets overpowered physically and Declan Rice needs to cover his ass. And with Norgard being there, it would give us that potential opportunity to maybe push Declan Rice up a bit more, make him more involved in the attack, thus helping thus helping Eze, thus helping our left winger, depending on who plays there, even striker, and everyone else who pushes forward. Definitely that would give us and help us going forwards. And in my opinion, Norgard is also quite underrated as a passer because certain passes he's making, I haven't seen Zubimendi make once this season, ironically enough. So there is something about this Norgard situation where he should be playing more. That could give also rest to certain players, but also he would bring a different dynamic to the team. Let's just put it that way. And the fact that Norgard, right? I don't know if it's going to be updated as of yet or not. But if you look at Norgard at the moment, and he has basically, has played 6 games in Premier League. And 56 minutes combined, that is, by the way. 56 minutes combined, right? 56 minutes in 6 games. That's about what? 10. That's less than 10 minutes per game on average. Less than 10 minutes per game on average. Well, what am I talking about? From the games he has played, we have played 31 games. Right, that's minute and few seconds per game on average throughout the whole season in Premier League. And that is very, very, very weird looking at that. We signed Norgard. He's Premier League proven, Brentford captain. He's been there, he's done that, he's done the job. He knows how to fight, how to battle in Premier League, especially looking at how Brentford used to play. He definitely could deal with physicality and the press and pressure situations. It's very weird decision by Mikel Arteta not to play him too much. Let's just put it that way, in Premier League specifically, because he has played in Cups, in Champions League. In every single competition, he has played more than in Premier League. So that is a weird one, definitely. Who won the game for us? Max Dowman. Yeah, Gyökeres scored the winner and everything. Max Dowman the second. Agreed, Norgard plays more aggressively. Yeah, progressively. Yeah, he plays. And yes, there is no argument that Zubimendi brings his values to the team. He has scored some very important goals for our team this season as well. He is very useful when Arsenal dominate the possession. But when we play these teams that high press us, they try to force mistake into us. Many times, Zubimendi has been the reason why we lose the possession, why the dangerous chance has occurred near our final third, because he has lost the possession. And many times it kind of coincides with the fact that he has been too weak, shoved off the ball, and under the pressure he panics and doesn't get away from the ball quick enough. He doesn't pass it off. Considering he was supposed to be Jorginho's replacement, you'd think he would have gotten more time than he has. Yeah, exactly. And that is the weird part. Like, you would think that, but it doesn't look like it. Man City have scored apparently 1-0, allegedly. Let's check this. Roy says 1-0. It is 1-0 Man City. And for Man City, the goal was scored by Semenyo, my guess. No, Bernardo Silva and Omar Marmoush with the assist. Bernardo Silva has scored the goal that has put, well, Man City ahead. Semenyo is playing, but yeah. So yeah, Man City are 1-0 up. Let's just put it that way. Hold that, Gyökeres. Yeah, Gyökeres scored. Gyökeres was in the right place at the right time. It was a bit of a chaotic situation, ironically, since we have spoken about the chaos throughout the stream as well, which Dowman and Madueke caused, and it came from them, that chaos. And Gyökeres was in the right place, right time to tap it into empty net, right? So obviously Max Dowman's putting Dewsbury Hall on his ass and then just running into empty net and everything. Like, come on, man. What else could be better? He didn't even play 40 minutes, but he'll still play better than the whole squad and change. Yeah, with Max Dowman, that is the case. He's a big impact sub. Like, I just wish he got used more. Let's just put it that way. I genuinely wish he got. Maybe he's gonna get used more. Obviously, that injury came at one of the worst times possible. Ironically, with Arsenal, whenever a player hits some sort of a form, that player tends to get injured. Happens a lot at Arsenal. Happened to Tomiyasu, happened to Ben White, happened to Timber, happened to Calafiori, ironically enough, whether you like him or not. Has happened to Saka, has happened to Thomas Partey. In this season, has happened to Dowman, and has happened to quite a few of those players. And unfortunately, yeah, that is the case. But when Max Dowman has played right now, most of the time, he has been very, very, very useful. Very useful and very impactful. And luckily for us, it has been when we come out on top. The Red Silva, hated player. There are loads of those, to be honest. I'm going to be honest. I didn't like Jorginho because he had the art of dark arts, right? Down to a T. And he always used it against Arsenal, and it really pissed me off. When he came to Arsenal, bygones be bygones, I didn't care because he utilized that against them. In my opinion, sometimes you need to have some type of a player like that in your team that really annoys everyone, gets on their nerves, pisses them off, like gives a little elbow, some words just to try to throw another player off. I definitely believe. I know it's a bit old school from my end, maybe, but yeah. And it's 1-1. Dinos Mavropanos. Once a Gooner, always a Gooner. 1-1 West Ham. Once a Gooner, always a Gooner. Big up Dinos. Big up Dino. Dinos Mavropanos. 1-1. Max the Starboy Dowman. Yeah, it could be the case. And Zubimendi is it feels sometimes like that. Definitely. It sometimes feels like Zubimendi is the weak link in Arsenal's midfield, specifically. Our midfield, in my opinion, is actually, I don't know if will people agree with me this or not, but our midfield feels unbalanced. And it has been like that for the last 2 years, if not more. Like, it's not too much. It's not directly involved in some attacks, which is really pissing me off. At times, it's really struggling defensively at times. There is not enough creative aspect in our midfield. The physicality is lacking. The pace is lacking at times. It's very unbalanced. I just put it that way. Still think we need a left back, left wing, and the number 10. Yes, we do. And you could argue we need a right back, with Ben White being injured constantly, unless you want to play Mosquera there, or which many people don't want to see because he's a backup for Saliba, because if he goes down, what are we going to do then? And yeah, I would argue we need about 4 players. Let's just put it that way. And it also could come to a point where we need 2 left wingers if we get rid of both. West Ham's 4 shot on goal. Well, that doesn't surprise me. I just hate how Silva kicks people afterwards in challenges, and then he will cry like a baby. Yeah, it's always like that. It's always like that. You have those players. You have those players like that. The thing is, for example, I don't like Bruno Fernandes, right? The Portuguese number 10 for Man United, if anyone in the chat didn't know, right? And if you're here, by the way, like and subscribe, people, and let me know in the chat what you thought about the game. But because he cries a lot, he's this and that. At the same time, his work ethic on the pitch is very resilient. He's one of those players in United's team that actually cares. And If you would ask me, would I take Bruno Fernandes at Arsenal? I would say in a heartbeat. Genuinely in a heartbeat. Swap him for Odegaard, swap him for almost whoever, like Merino or someone like that. I would take him at Arsenal. I would not mind that. I know people will disagree with me on this, but I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about this. Like, serious talk. 1-1. Do you think West Ham are within a shot? Oh, Bernardo Silva got a yellow as well. Bernardo Silva got a yellow as well, by the way. Speaking of Bernardo Silva, he got a yellow. Marmoush and Bernardo Silva are on yellows, and Bernardo Silva has scored. Yeah, the stats are very damning for West Ham because all the possession, everything is in favor of Man City. Somehow XG is actually, if you are in one of those things, it's in favor of West Ham, ironically enough. Man of the match, Dowman? I would say so. Yeah, people will say who was the man of the match. For me, Max Dowman, just for the fact that he was the one who came on. He was the one who changed the game, who actually turned the game into a very, very positive outcome for Arsenal, personally for me. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, Dinos Mavropanos makes it 1-1 for West Ham. Once a gooner, always a gooner. And yeah, Donnarumma again screws it up, ironically enough. Big up Sacks. Big win today. 100% big win. Big win. I think Semenyo and Gehi made a mistake going to City, but I guess they were so desperate to leave. True, I get it as well. At the same time, for example, Gehi going to Man City, it was a very straightforward because Crystal Palace was sinking to a degree. Let's be real. They're losing their best players. Man City had an opening in the center back. He literally gets game time pretty much every single game in, game out. He is going to be a very consistent performer there, even without the injuries they have, because he brings a bit more calmness, a bit more level-headedness to that Man City team. And I think he's going to be one of those type of deals. Saying that, I'm not too sure it was the best move overall for him, but time only will tell. With Semenyo, it was a bit of a desperation to leave because he could have gone to a different team with better situations, with better chances. At the same time, if Man City sort themselves out, I think Semenyo will play a very massive key role in that team in the future, especially next season, because many players who sign for Pep and Man City, the first season tend to be like average, right? And the second season, third season, they just into stratosphere, they kick on. Semenyo is kicking on instantly. So the question is he going to maintain the level, become worse next season? Let's just put it that way. We definitely need a left back, a left wing, number 10, number 6, and the right back. But if Ben White can regain his full fitness and the manager lets him rest, we don't need a right. Yeah, that right back. But the thing with Ben White is he has lost a yard of pace. He gets done over sometimes way too easily, and that for me is a very big worry overall. Yeah, 100%. Gehi was more suited for Liverpool, 100% in my opinion as well. Liverpool are in desperate need of center backs because their center backs already, one is like a 60-year-old, another one is, well, he has a bozo gene, half injury prone, and could be leaving at the end of the season as well, by the way, right? And then they need to basically rebuild their whole defense. Let's be real. So he was suited. But Liverpool's issue is they were not proactive. They just sit there and waited for the summer, so try and sign him on free. City needed him as well. And they just acted like that. They just went there and signed him. What was stopping Liverpool from doing that? Go figure. Because Liverpool now are in this predicament where they either could be rebuying back Kwanzaa for about 60-something million. And the second one is if they don't, like, what they're going to do. They're in desperate need for defenders. And if some of them leave, Van Dijk is old. Let's be real. He's not young. And he might be playing one of his last seasons as well. Because Van Dijk, no matter how you look at it, is 34 years old. How long will he be somewhat injury-free? He's going to be that lethal weapon for them in defense. It's not going to be a very pretty sight. They needed to start rebuilding their defense last year, and they didn't. They need to start rebuilding defense this year, and they haven't. So they are again 2 steps behind the curve. Just like when they won the Champions League under Jurgen Klopp and Premier League, they didn't build on. They didn't invest into the team to find backups, to find rotations, to basically build for the future. They just went with the flow, and we all saw what happened in the end. The most of the players got run into the ground, and they had to struggle, and they had to basically rebuild half of the team, and they could be again in this position once again. Zubimendi is too scared to play 6, and he scares no one contact. Yeah, with Zubimendi, that is a big issue. Semenyo has been on fire at City, definitely. He has been, in this City season, he has been one of their biggest bright spots, and he's doing that obviously when players like Foden and everyone else are having their drought spells, they're not firing. So if they start firing with Semenyo together, that definitely could be an issue. No matter how you look at it, it's City anyways. We need a left back to rotate with Hinkapia. Yes, we do. We definitely do. I wonder who we will sign for that left back spot, though. I agree, Zubimendi isn't physical enough, but we should be playing Norgard right now. I'd take Tonali, but I prefer Gyökeres. I definitely prefer Gyökeres over Tonali at Arsenal. But signing one of those two definitely would help Arsenal in that midfield, especially over Zubimendi. Who would you want at the 6th position? Well, Rodri is not available, so hey-ho. Personally, I would say Bruno Guimaraes or Tonali, and that goes also with the fact that we could put Rice in the 6 and put Guimaraes in the 8, or put Rice in the 8 and then Tonali or Guimaraes in the 6. I would say definitely Bruno Guimaraes. Adam Wharton, I wouldn't mind seeing how he does. People have very big hype for Anderson from Nottingham Forest, but I'm a bit on the fence about him yet. Still. Who else is there? I wouldn't mind Kamavinga or someone like that for Arsenal's midfield. I would love, for example, for Arsenal to sign Nicola Barella from Inter for number 8 spot, and then maybe move Rice to the 6. Would not be against that at all. Yeah, but for me, you say, who do you want at the 6th position? For me, lots of signings I would want in the midfield are coinciding with the fact that Rice moves to the 6. Quite a few. Because the signings I envision playing that 8 role are taking away Rice's spot. Only midfielder that actually played well was Eze. Saka has been performing disgraceful. Yeah, that 300 grand curse is definitely striking us hard. Somehow, every time player gets about 300 grand a week, he disappears. Has happened countless times at many clubs and at Arsenal as well, quite a few times. So definitely, Eze was decent overall. Nothing spectacular, but decent. I think our new midfielder should be technically good. Anderson's actually very balanced both in attack and defense. Yeah. For me personally, when we signed Merino, right, my ideal player was to sign Fabian Ruiz. Not Merino, but Fabian Ruiz. And I was begging, because we had some vague links that summer with Fabian Ruiz, that we actually go and sign him. Because for me personally, Fabian Ruiz would have been the ideal midfielder for Arsenal. 6'2", 6'3", technical, good shot, good defensively, overall package. Exactly. Rice is not an 8. He's not good enough going forward. Exactly. Rice is a 6 because that's his best position. That's the one where he won the trophy with West Ham, the Conference League, right? Also saying that, as you say, he's not good enough going forward, right? He gets asked to do certain things in the attack he's not equipped enough to do. That's very evident. The technical ability is lacking, the passing is lacking up at times and everything. You can definitely see the mobility is not there and everything. You can definitely see that he is doing some things to the best of his abilities, what he can, but he is not the most well-equipped for that spot, in my opinion. What about Rice in the 6? And Morgan Rogers, for me, is not an 8. Morgan Rogers in the 8, no chance in hell for me. I'm sorry, but no chance. I always wanted Ruiz since he was last at Napoli. I totally understand that. Yeah, same. I watched Napoli because of him. See, Rogers, Tonali, or Anderson, or Agume, underrated CDM. Like, Morgan Rogers for me is not an 8, so I definitely would not entertain that idea playing him in that 8 spot with Rice moving to the 6. Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, Anderson, Wharton, some of those players I would definitely take at the club without shadow of a doubt. And again, as we are talking about this, many signings that Arsenal could sign for the midfield to make our midfield more balanced, forward thinking, and also defensively well equipped enough, more technical, with better passing and better energy, relies on the fact that Rice moves to the 6 and we sign an 8. Ironically enough, even though we discussed signing a 6, we maybe should be looking at signing an 8 and moving Rice to the 6. But will that happen? That is a story for another day, isn't it? That is a story for another day, people. Let's be real. No matter how you look at it. Still 1-1 at the West Ham game. Interesting. One of my bias and probably left field opinions, Ayo Tanaka from Leeds, if they go down. Ayo Tanaka is actually a very decent player. For me at Arsenal, he would not be good enough to be a starter, one of the main guys. But as a rotational player, something like Norgard's role, stuff like that at the moment, Tanaka actually would be decent. Especially looking that Arsenal are looking forward to moving on, apparently. Norgard already, given his age and situation. Maybe Ayo Tanaka could be the one of them. Big up, Hendon. Big up, Hengham. How was the pub after watching the match? I think it was great, wasn't it? It was fantastic. We got a great 8 in MLS. He has all the attributes he has. Skelly in the 8 has been one of the battle cries for many Arsenal fans, including myself throughout the season and for quite a while, because more or less he possesses everything you need from that 8 spot. Decent shot, physicality, technical ability, ball carrying skills, and everything. But somehow Arteta envisions him as a left back. I have no idea why. Just because he wants to invert, that's just not cutting it for me. Especially looking at the fact that Skelly used to be a number 6/number 8 in the youth system, and Arteta just talked to the youth system and transformed him into a left back because he wanted someone like Zinchenko type inverting from the left back, which now he has basically dropped to a very high degree. It's definitely nuts. Dowman does more than 15 minutes in comparison to Saka, Madueke, and Zubimendi all the time they were on the pitch, yeah. And that has been the story of Arsenal's season and quite a few seasons. Many times we sub on these players like Ethan Vanieri last year, Skelly played, Max Dowman now, and Emil Smith-Rowe a few years back. Those players, as youngsters, come off the bench and they do more than our senior main guys have done the whole game. And the issue with that is, for me, is the fact that Arteta, either he doesn't want to recognize it, or he thinks it's just a one-off. It won't work 2 games in a row sometimes, because he still persists playing the same players who dropped the stinker the game before without giving a shot to one of the guys who actually is on form right now. And it's a never-ending story. It's always like that, and nothing changes. And that's one of the biggest frustrations with Arsenal that have at the moment, no matter how you look at it. It's obviously there are player management, rotations, and all this stuff, but especially this, that the favorites that feels like Mikel Arteta has in the team get played, and players on form just rot on the bench for so long that when they come off the bench on the pitch, their form is gone. And when they come on and they play, they look like nobody. And then it feels like Arteta gets that extra psychological, emotional boost by being proven right in this instance that the starting players are better. Yeah, exactly. I cannot forget Ethan Vanieri. Hopefully he comes back and he gets to play and he sets the world on fire as well, because I want to see Ethan succeed at Arsenal. We need to bin Zubimendi. He has phobia of running forward. He has phobia of running forward, passing forward, and, well, let's be real, from people on the pitch, from players on the pitch, because as soon as you press him, you get too close to him, he panics. He falls over, he loses the ball, he gets dispossessed, and he misplaces simple 2-yard passes and everything. There is something fundamentally not fully there with Zubimendi in these instances. Hence why we have been talking about this for the longest time, that we need to play Norgard. And, well, Arteta just doesn't. Norgard has 56 goddamn minutes in Premier League. 50 goddamn 6. Make that make sense. 56 minutes in 32 or 31 games, or how many we have played. Because if you think about it, that's just a bit over nearly almost 1 minute 40 seconds or something like that on average per game. For a guy who is proven, who used to be Brentford's captain, and he knows how to play in Premier League, and he doesn't mind the physicality. It's definitely something worrying, let's just put it that way. People were telling me Zubimendi's upgrade on Partey. In no chance in hell he's upgrade on Thomas Partey. In no chance in hell. Zubimendi is upgrade on Jorginho, more or less. But to be an upgrade on Thomas Partey, you need to have the physicality, you need to have the vision, the patience, the cold-bloodedness, and you need to know how to do the thread the needle type of passes, and you need to know how to link up defense to midfield to the attack. And it's very evident that Zubimendi doesn't possess all those traits, without shadow of a doubt. And how he can be an upgrade on Thomas Partey, I have no goddamn idea. Surely Arteta's desire to play by a system rather than allow certain players to make their own decisions is so evident and crushing our creativity to 100%. 100%. Because he doesn't allow players to have freedom. Free roam, free will, free spirit type of situation, because sometimes it feels like Max Dowman and Madueke play like that. And you can see that they look like years above everyone else in the team, ironically enough. Remember when Eze was playing and against Villa, the mics were next to him. Remember how Arteta was screaming to Eze when Eze was cutting in, running into side in the open spaces, and Arteta said, no, don't run inside, stay on the byline and all this stuff. Like, it's very evident Arteta doesn't like these free spirit type of players who basically thrive under being free roam roles. Zubimendi just too lightweight for the Prem, easily outmuscled of the ball. Yeah, way too easily. 1 year he can be our main, not maybe our main 10 right now, but definitely there could be something to it. Let's just put it that way. Spanish Odegaard, another soy boy. I think some of the top gunners are swing if they were angry the whole match if Dowman came on. I just cannot deal with them right now. How many times today did we pass the ball when we could shot or dribble the ball into space? It's like watching a slower and more boring version of Wenger's walking the ball into the net. Yeah, at least Wenger could score. Wenger's team could score those goals. We just don't. And the decision making into the final third in this instance, it has been with one of the most frustrating parts in watching Arsenal, because we already play so slow, so pragmatic that many times with over recycling the ball, we allow defenders, the opposing side, to get into the places to block the shots, to close the gaps and everything, right? And then even when we break them, we shoot when we need to pass. We pass when we need to shoot. We take too many touches, we shoot, and it gets blocked. And it's like we are doing things backwards. We are too much into our heads, basically. And we are overthinking every single move we are doing. And I just wish sometimes the players just didn't think about it. One touch bang, one touch pass, and everything. But it doesn't feel like it's in the team at the moment. Basically, both they're not scrubs, but definitely not great. Big up Mubarak, big up. Big up Uganda. Big up Uganda. Big up Africa. Big up Uganda. Hope you're doing well. Hope Uganda is doing well today too. And we said better later than never. Yeah, true. Better later than never. Let's be real. The conundrum is that we must win trophies this year, but it means Arteta gets more time. We literally screwed ourselves by keeping him this long. Well, let's just put, if Arteta wins Premier League or Champions League, right? Give him 1 more year. See what happens. Because that could be one of the two things. Either it's a one-off like with Arne Slot and it's done and dusted, because we could actually next year become Liverpool this season. Just a massive drop-off. It could happen with the injuries, with everything, right? At the same time, it also could go the other way, where if we win the league under Mikel Arteta, he stays that one more year, for example, we could actually be looking at that extra step, that after Premier League we go down to Champions League, and we could do something massive, because the team actually will finally figure out, and they will have done it. They will have won a game, won Premier League, won trophies. They will actually know what it takes to win it, because this team as a collective unit does not know shit about winning stuff, because they have never done it before. Certain players have done it individually with different teams. Very few of them have played the main key roles into these instances. But overall, as a unit, they've done, well, pretty much nothing besides just finishing second for 4 years straight and falling out in the fourth or third round of FA Cup or Carabao Cup. All those berating Gyökeres and wanted Havertz instead. Well, Havertz did that. Havertz was not great. Gyökeres, he got his chance and he scored a goal, and Gyökeres was with the striker's instinct, right place, right time type of deal, and that's what you need. Well, we will know the next week if we actually get it over the line, won't we? Yeah, exactly. The first final since we won the FA Cup. That's how nuts it is. This is going to be the first Arsenal's final since we have won the FA Cup. This team hasn't won as a unit and hasn't lost as a unit. So they don't have the pain to encourage them and put them forward. And they don't have the know-how how to win it, because they have never done it. And the window is closing fast on these opportunities, on these chances. And this next weekend is going to be what's going to tell a lot. Let's just put it that way. Big up, Beggy. Big up. The thing they also don't know what it's to lose. Exactly. Great minds think alike. They don't know what it feels like to win a final or lose a final, because they both could have very positive effect on the team and players mentally and psychologically, and they just don't know. And that is the biggest issue. Big up, TAF TV. Big up. I think Dowman played Dowman played fantastically well, being the youngest goal scorer in Premier League history. And how was that not a foul? Everton clearly pushed that. Those debates and those talks, like, I don't get into referee discussions too much on the channel. We can do it after the season, everything, but definitely there is some shenanigans going on. The Premier League definitely is quite a bit different compared to other leagues, compared to other leagues and Champions League and everything in terms of referees, the rules, and any referee can interpret any situation as they wish. And that is the biggest issue. There is no consistency. You can see copy-paste scenarios 3 games in a row. You will have obviously 3 different referees. One will give a penalty, other one will do nothing, and third one will maybe give a yellow for diving, for example, and stuff like that. In the middle of the pitch, one is not going to be a foul, other one is going to give a yellow, other one think it's going to be a red because it's malicious foul. And go figure. There is no consistency. And the next weekend you will see the same type of foul, and all of a sudden he gets straight red, he gets fined and everything. Like, it goes always about it. I'm totally forgetting about Merino's existence. Our midfield is rough. Exactly. That's how nuts it is. Merino is injured till the end of the season, pretty much. And you have forgotten about him. And even when he played, it wasn't a great watch. Mikel Merino, who had never played at striker in his life, in his career, right, comes to Arsenal, plays striker position for the first time in his life, and at that striker position, he does better than the position where he has played his whole life. Make from that what you will. What's the point of link-up play of Havertz that people glaze if that doesn't create chances or shooting opportunities? Exactly. For me, Havertz's link-up play would be the best stat if we had 2 striker formation, 4-4-2, for example. Or he was in a false 9 and he was bouncing off everyone. But our midfield is not as connected to the attack as it should be because it's unbalanced. And that is causing a lot of issues. Sometimes when you look at the team, when they play on the pitch, their positioning, you cannot help but wonder and think, but where the hell is the 10? Where the hell is the link up? Where's the player that should be directing traffic and the ball should be going through him? Oh, he's hugging the touchline together with a left winger, actually, and everything. And just put it that way. The mistake was also playing Saka at right wing today. Mykolenko has proven he can neutralize Saka. Should have started Madueke or Dowman there. Yeah, for me, we actually talked about this as well yesterday on the stream, right? We should be... I really would want to see Saka start on the left wing and play there, and have, for example, Madueke on the right wing or Max Dowman on the right wing. I would want to have a player whose dominant foot is not for cutting inside. Like with Martinelli, he plays left wing with the right foot, and Saka plays right wing with the left foot. 90% of the time, every single defender expects them to cut in, and they do it, or recycle the ball. How about you put the player with their dominant foot on the outside? So blocking the cross is going to be difficult, first things first, because it's going to be a reach. Second of all, Saka has very decent right foot, right? Madueke has somewhat decent other foot as well. So they could actually, push come to shove, cut in and make something out of it. Just switch the wings, try something different, because that could actually open up and help Saka more. Big up, Godfrey. Big up, Godfrey. Hope you're doing well today, brother. Big up. Big up, big up, big up, big up. And that is the big thing. Madueke was done dirty. He's useless on the left. Don't know why Saka was not interchanging with Madueke during the first half. And that is the biggest thing. They don't. And with me, that is a bit of a rough one with Arteta, because you see De La Fuente do this a lot. For example, for Spain, switching the wings and everything, and it works. It throws defenders off balance. It keeps them guessing. And Arteta never does that. And that is a big issue, like not enough adaptiveness in that regard. Madueke has proven that on left wing, he's not great. His best position is right wing. Saka has been good for us at right wing. In recent times, definitely nowhere near good, right? But trying him on the left wing would not be the worst. What could go wrong? Big up Martin Zubimendi. Big up Zubi-Zubi-Doo. Good results today. Proud for Dowman. Saka annoyed me today. He delayed shot. Oh, Saka is just... With Saka, this is just... I don't even know anymore. Is this Saka situation a lost cause, or what is happening there? Let's just put it that way, because definitely it's a bit of a mystery and a bit of a massive headache. Let's just put it that way. Saka is finished. Oh my goodness. When we started to look threatening, he subs off Donny. Yeah. But to be honest, he subbed off as well Dowman, and that changed everything. Exactly. Even if you start Saka right wing, couldn't they at least try to switch sides? Exactly. Just try it. Do it, because what was the point in when was it? Mid-September, mid-October, some crap like that. At that time, Arsenal themselves, by the way, tweeted out a clip in the training sessions where they train with Saka playing on the left and Madueke playing on the right. How many times we have seen that in game? How many times they have switched in the wings during the game? Maybe once, maybe twice. Best case scenario. Well, for the first half, I didn't realize Madueke was on the pitch, and that is a big worry. That just shows how bad we were, let's be real. Eze looked better when Dowman came on. Yeah, because Eze actually had someone who plays somewhat similar to him. Two of them are very direct. They want to play quick triangles, quick pass and moves. And as soon as he has someone to play off like that, it gives that player extra wind, extra energy. It gives that extra motivation to try and create something. 100%. Poor performance up until the 2 goals. Having to rely on a 16-year-old over Captain Saka is embarrassing. Yeah, and starting Havertz over Gyökeres was stupid anyways. Yeah, Arteta is very lucky as a manager in general. Lucky it all paid off. Dowman changed the game. Saving Mikel Arteta at 16 is a great statement to prove. And yeah, and let's be real. Next game, he's going to hold bench, not even see the pitch, isn't he? But because that's Arteta's signature move. As soon as someone has a great game, you think next game they will start or get more minutes. They don't even see the pitch. They just sit on the bench. Eze, in the first game against Spurs, Eze scores 2 goals. No, sorry, Eze scores hat-trick. Next game doesn't see the pitch. Madueke, 2 goals against Belgium chocolate makers Club Bruges. Next game doesn't see the pitch. It's his signature move. He always does that. Did the same with Emil Smith-Rowe and Trossard when he just joined and everything. Like it's not the first time, and most likely it's not going to be the last. Dowman over Saka. Yeah. At the moment, 100%. As in Dowman, both ballers, 100%. Calafiori could play on the left-hand side where Madueke played. The man can play any... Yeah, he plays pretty much every single position besides left-back. Because he gets cooked there too often. I just cannot deal with that. The match cried out for somebody like Ranieri. Yeah, these type of games, just like the game against Leverkusen during the week, last week, that game also cried out for a player like Dowman, Ranieri, someone like that. And Arteta obviously never pulled the trigger. This game he did, and it paid off. Sorry, but Saka needs to buck his ideas up and make way for Dowman. Dude, there's a lot they need, as Arteta has destroyed Saka. Yeah, unfortunately, that is the case. That is the case. Yeah, Ranieri needs a lot. Like it wasn't because of that. He wanted game time. Now, obviously, Arteta promised him that and wasn't giving it to him. Hence why now as well, Miles Lewis-Skelly wants to piece the scene. That is another one. The Scorpion-like block from Calafiori has earned him another start. We know how Arteta is, even though Hincapié being solid. Yeah, that Scorpion defense, that's gonna be clipped, memed. It's gonna be in every channel pretty much, and that's gonna be Arteta's Trojan horse to basically for the next game. Yeah, Calafiori overall he was good today. Yeah, 100% he was good without shadow of a doubt. Problem with Saka is that he doesn't make his mind up quick enough. He hesitates in a way. Exactly. And that's the issue with Arteta, because Saka wasn't like that. He wasn't doing these things. He was quick on his decisions. Right now, for the last 2.5 seasons, he tends to overthink, overdo, overhold the ball, overpass, overshoot, and everything. It's actually wild. I would also just love to see us have fullbacks who make overlaps instead of constantly tucking in or making underlap. Yeah, I would love to see Kieran Tierney overlapping. Oh, wait, we don't have a Kieran Tierney anymore and stuff like that. Would love to see Ben White do that on the right. Oh, wait, he's injured all the time. David Raya didn't need to come out on Calford. Dude, David Raya today as well pissed me off with those situations and instances. That was something very, very... I needed some heart and nerve medicine to basically deal with that. Don't cheat to me, you're Yeah, right. We also dropped off quite a bit in attacking defending corners. Yeah, we have. Ironically enough, us scoring corners wasn't as big of an issue. Our defending the corners has been an issue. So I don't get it. Do we only work on attacking in set piece training or what? Saka has reached his peak, I think. That injury definitely didn't do him any favors. Never does anything other than cut on his left like he's Arjen Robben. Yeah, he's cutting in and then passing it backwards most of the time to Odegaard or Rice or whoever is there. The thing is, Saka is not Arjen Robben. Everyone knew what Arjen Robben was going to do, and they still couldn't stop him because he still scored countless goals. Saka is not Arjen Robben. Let's be real. Everyone knows what he's going to do, and they stop him instantly. Marlon, relax. I'm going to time you out again. Saka should be making runs like Dowman. He should. He used to. Again, Saka used to do those things, but for the last 2.5 years, again, it has been coached out of him. It has been coached out of him with the system and style they play. There was another mistake that almost happened in the second half with Troya. He came out for no reason when Gabriel cleared the ball, almost knocked the man. Exactly. Like it's insane what David Raya. I don't get it. Is David Raya getting bored in goal or what? The first 5 to 10 minutes of the second half today was terrible too. Almost 5 to 6 short passes around our box. Dangerous play. Yeah, it was dangerous, and we are playing with fire. If we got a bit more unlucky, if the team was a bit more technical and more gifted, we could have conceded. Let's be real. If the team had a bit more quality, we could have conceded, and that would be a completely different game. Let's be real. But yeah, it's actually it's actually nuts when you think about it. It actually is very nuts if you think about it. But hey, I guess it is what it is. We have to live with this right now. We genuinely have to live with this right now. And I am not too sure how this is going to pan out for Arsenal. Let's just put it that way. I'm genuinely not too sure. Everton are pushing for Europe. It was going to be a difficult game. Ref was shit. Well, refs are awful every single game. Let's be real. So that's not an excuse. Everton are actually a very good team under David Moyes. They're doing their job. They're a very well drilled team and everything. We should be expecting that. At the same time, it's not an excuse for certain things we do on the pitch and certain mistakes we actually make whilst we are on the pitch. Let's be real. So we'll see. We'll see how that's going to go and how that's going to impact us overall. So yeah, time only will tell. Arsenal are in this spot where there is no room for error. There is genuinely nothing we can afford to do wrongly. We need to be honest. We need to be patient. We need to basically be just 100 all the time. Yeah, West Ham are playing well. They're fighting for the relegation battle. They need some points, and against Man City, a Man City that just lost 3-0 to Real Madrid. I was expecting some bounce back for Man City. After that, they would get actually angry and they would basically unload their anger over West Ham, but it hasn't happened yet. Let's be real. Yeah, Everton frustrated us, couldn't break them down. Exactly. And that's the thing everyone tries to do. Some teams succeed more than others, and in the end, if you actually succeed in nerving and frustrating Arsenal, more chance than not, you're going to get a result against us. Generally surprised at how West Ham are doing well. They are. For now, don't jinx it. Genuinely, don't jinx it. Love Moyes. He always brings up keeper in the end. Yeah. Yeah. But to be honest, credit to David Moyes. He's doing a good job at Everton. Looking at that Everton team he took over and what they are now and where they are now, big up to David Moyes. Big up to David Moyes. But yeah, people, like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. But for today, that is going to be it. I'm going to go have a rest. I'm going to go relax. And tomorrow, we're going to be back. So stay safe. Take care. Going to redirect you to Northside stream. Go show him some love. Latvian Raid. See you soon. Peace.